Hello. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late today. I completely forgot I was streaming. Came out of a meeting and was just like, oops, here we go. So I did a little bit of UI work last night. Just to make it a little bit kind of nicer to look at, I guess. What I'm going to do, I'm going to focus in on the code so you can actually see what we're doing today, because we've all seen my face. It's nothing exciting. All right, what we want to do is sail artisan migrate fresh with a seed. There we go. Let's go to GitHub. And we are in. I am logged in. Here's me. I can go to my projects, can see projects, go create a new project. It's a test project, done. Go view the project. And we've got a bit of UI to work with. So where we left it last, we were playing around with the composer request, making sure the validation rules were working as we would want. So what I'm doing this time is we're going to build this into a payload so that we can actually use it. So let's get started. Public read-only string name. Public read-only string description. Public read-only null string version. Public read-only null type. Read-only null array keywords. Public read-only null string homepage. I wonder if I can type better today. That'd be interesting. So public read-only null string readme null string time. And we want the license. So we want the license, public read-only. I'm just going to make an object for now for the author. Actually, no, it's going to be an array. An array for the authors. Come back and build that object in a little while. We then have a public read-only object for support. We'll build up that in a moment too. Public read-only array. Oh, that's again an object. Object for funding. Funding. Okay, so require, that is public read-only array or require. Public read-only null array require dev. Funding, I believe, was nullable. That should also be nullable. Authors. Do we want authors to be required at this point? I don't think we do. No, it's nullable too. So nullables. Oh, optional stuff. Never fun, is it? So that's required dev. Public read-only null array conflict. Public read-only null array replace. And the reason I'm capturing this stuff is because it might be useful later on. Might not be useful this very second, but you never know with this stuff, do you? Might get a random idea that I can add to this and make it that little bit better. So public read-only null array suggest public read-only null object for the auto load. Read-only null object for auto load dev. That's all the auto loady stuff done. Then we've just got these two last bits, which is public read-only null stability enum, which I created, and we're just going to put that stability and public read-only null ball for stable. And that is everything we're capturing. I'm just going to make that all like that. I'll fix that another time. Right now, not super important. I'm just going to fix that whole file, and we're going to have our public static function from array. You get an array of data, and this is going to return composer.json. Return new composer.json. Awesome. So we can get started with this. Name, data, name. Let's just go down on this side. Here we go. So we've got name. Description is data. Description. Then we're going to have a version of data. Version. Type is data. Like, this is like the boring part of the build, I guess. It's interesting to an extent, but you know. Keywords. Home page. Read me. Time. Date time. License. Data. License. Authors. I'm just going to do it this way for now. Authors, and we'll kind of extend and add objects where we need them. Support is data support. Support done. Then it's funding, data funding. Acquire is data acquire. Let me just open up my composer.json. Yeah, that just come to as require. Perfect. Require dev is data acquire dev. Conflict data conflict. Replace data replace. Oh wow, this is just so much fun to do. Why did I say I'd do this? It's just not the most fun thing to do, but hey, I said I'd do it, so I'm gonna do it. Right, auto loads, data, auto loads. Auto load dev, data, auto load dev. Stability, data, minimum stability, prefer stable is data, prefer stable. Oh, thank God that bit's done. All right, so I can close that off. I've now got all of this. which is just going to be string mixed for now. Worry about that later. Okay, yeah, don't worry about that later. That should all be done now. So in this here, what we want to do is come to this and we want to say public function payload is going to return composer.json. Return composer.json from array where the data is this validated, something like that. So at this point here, we want to dump on the request payload. Coming over here, ingress composer. We're just going to test this. So HTTP, can't bloody talk today. That's from the last few times. Let's just create this new one over here. So what is my URL? I'm just going to grab that one. We'll use that. And we're going to say API composer ingress. Post request where the headers is accept application JSON. Method not allowed. Ingress composer, wrong way around. Unprocessable content. Awesome. We're getting somewhere. So now if I just come over to here and just open up my composer.json, no, composer.json's down here. I'm just going to grab this and send the whole thing, because that is kind of what I'd expect it to be doing. Does not exist. Validate require. What's that one on? Make sure that's all working. Cool. Now let's go back and send that again. Undefined array key version. It's because it's nullable. So that means on my payload thing over here. So let's just walk through these. Null. I'm just going to move HTTP to there, so they're next to each other. Next is keywords. So I'm just going to copy that and drop that in. Home page, README, time. Done. Support, awesome. Funding, conflict, replace, provide, suggest. Just going to do it like that. And yeah, we'll call it a day with that and see what it does. Required. Argument 4 type must be of blah. Okay, so type. Here, this. So type from that 9 license. Argument must be of that. Okay, so auto load. I now need to look at. Hey JS, how you doing, buddy? So next we're going to say payloads. That's composer.json. What we then want is an auto load JSON. This will public function construct. this will have public read-only array for PSR4, public read-only array for PSR0. And if we just kind of have a look at the request again, and we've got class map, files, and exclude. So public read-only array for class map, public read-only array for files, public read-only array for exclude. And we will do that. Public static function from array. An array of data is going to return an auto-load JSON. From this, we can return a new auto-load JSON where PSR4 is data PSR-4 or empty array PSR0 data PSR-0 or empty array class map data class map Oh, so much fun to be had. Right, let me get the name correctly from this one. Exclude from class map. That is what I need next. So then data exclude from class map or an empty array. So this should have a string followed by an array of string in theory. So where we have that autoload, here we go. So autoload JSON from array data try that. Autoload dev needs to be the same thing. It has the exact same format. So if we come up to here, we're going to have an auto load JSON for both of these. Cool. Stability. Next one. That wasn't what I wanted to do. It needs to be down here. Ta-da! We have an object we can use. So next up, we want to look at like authors, actually building an array of authors. So next we can come over here and say author JSON. So what does an author have? Let's put the request on this side so we can scroll up to authors and get this working. So public function construct public read-only string for name, public read-only string for email, homepage, and public read-only string for role. So all of that is nullable. So I'm just going to copy and replace all of that, make this read-only, And we're going to create one static function from an array of data. It's going to return an author JSON. Return new author JSON. The name is data name or null. The email is data email or null. Then page is data and page or null. And finally, the role is data role or null. So how are we going to create this? In our composer JSON, we have authors up the top somewhere. Here we go. We're going to do an array map. The array we care about is this one. And the callback for that is going to be author JSON from array where the data is author. This will return an author. And this is static. Fantastic, just like that. So now if we come back over to here, come over to authors, we have an array of one author where we can see author information, which is great because then we can add that as a maintainer and we can start working. So next up, let's have a look at require. Yeah, let's look at require next. Require could be quite a useful one. Require JSON. So public function construct. So this will have a read-only string package and a public read-only string for the version. That is kind of how that works. Public static function from array data, require JSON, return new, require JSON, where the package is data this isn't okay, so I'm gonna have a look at how we can pass this through first actually. So if we come to the composer JSON where we get down to require, what we want to do is array map. The array is require or an empty array. The call back is a static function on the package. And we want to call require JSON from array package. And require JSON, what we're going to do is dump on that data itself. So from array argument must be string given. Okay, so what we want to do is okay, this is the trickier part. This needs to be an array. So what we're going to do is just grab that and say we're going to return that require JSON from array. So what do we get? Awesome. So we get an array coming in. For each data as package and version, what happens if we yield a new require JSON where the package is a package and the version is the version? What happens if we do that? Generator going, no, that's not going to work. Can you do an array map and get the key? PHP array map key value. Okay, so let's just go back a little bit. We're going to just dump on that data. Here we're going to go back as well. What happens if we just do that? Does that work? Closure one passed to expected. No. Damn it. Okay, so that means we're just going to have to do it up here. And we're going to have to do a require is an array for each data require as package version require equals something like that. So then when we come down to require, we're just going to have to say require. Package and version. Perfect. I mean, not perfect, but it'll have to do for now because I don't want to spend all day on it. I just want to get it done. Move on to the fun bits. Let's test that. There we go. So if we come down to require, we can see we have an array of require JSON like this. So that part's fine. I suppose we're going to have to do the same for require dev, which is a pain. Require dev for each require dev. We have to do the same for. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Ignore me. Right, let's go to require dev and let's just kind of drop that in there too. There we go. And no, that's not a hot reload on the API client. That is me pressing command and space. It's the same thing as pressing send. to send. It's just command and space. It works in pretty much all HTTP clients. So I've got require and require dev all good to go. Autoload is working. Autoload JSON is working. Stability is working. All the other things are not as important for what I'm doing. So what I can do is move on for now. So require JSON, author JSON, autoload JSON, composer JSON, just close up a lot of these, composer controller. Right, so we are ingressing data at this point. And this could be hit multiple times a second, hundreds of times a second, depending on, how big your operation is. So what we want to do is when we are accepting this, so the kind of a workflow for this, how should this be working? This is likely to come from a GitHub action, most likely. So a GitHub action will go, okay, cool. So I want the project ID and I want the composer payload. So this should all be kind of part of a composer payload. So I kind of need to say composer dot before everything, because we want that comes through as an object, basically. We want to pass over the project as well. Require conflict replace provide just autoload, drop in all that autoload stuff. The payload is this validated key composer. So let's see if that still works. So now if I just grab all of that and say composer is that still works. What I also want to do is pass over the project, which will be like the identifier. So let me open up Table Plus, come over to my dependency map, and go to my projects. I have got an ID for a project. I am just going to use that. So my project is that. So project should be here. It is required. It should be a string. And it should exist in projects using the ID. So if I drop those two H's, it will fail. Add them back in, we're good to go. Right, so that's validating that part. We can create that payload. That bit is fine. What we can do is dispatch stuff. If we say just dispatch, what this does, this helper function, it will create a new pending dispatch. And what a new pending dispatch is, it will just accept a job. You can say on connection, blah, blah, blah. You can do lots of stuff. I wonder if there's a nicer way to do this. Can we say like bus dispatch? Yes, you can. So you can get the bus. What we can do is we can get the dispatcher. So in our controller, because I like to use dependency injection, we can say construct, and we're going to get the dispatcher, private read-only dispatcher, although that is the wrong one. We want the contract. Import contracts bus dispatcher, which will then allow us to say this dispatcher dispatch command is going to be a new something or other. So let's just work on that something or other now quickly. So we want to make a new job. A make job ingress process composer upload. Kind of what we want to do. So new process composer upload. Let's go work on that. This will accept the composer.json and a project identifier. So you'll have a public read-only string for a project and a public read-only composer.json for composer. Then we're going to handle the job itself. I'm going to fix that file. So this will accept the project. So I can say request string project to string, and the composer is request payload. So far, so good. So we've got the dispatcher and we're just dispatching the job. Fix a whole file quickly. I'm going to call this the bus because it is a bus. There we go. This bus dispatch. I'm going to make that read only. So we're dispatching a new job, and then we're just going to return a new JSON response where the data is a message that says request is being processed, and the status can be response HTTP accepted. This will return a JSON response. So all good. We've dispatched jobs and everything's working nicely. Failed jobs, anything happening? No, good. So now we can look at actually handling this. So how do we want to handle this? We want to have like an ingress service. So this ingress service, what it needs to do, it needs to interact with the database. Public function construct. This needs to have access to the database manager, the database. So first things first. We want to get the project from ID. This should return a project. Return project query where, well, I suppose we could find instead. Find where the ID is the project. This could also return just a model. There we go. Yeah, I'm not too bothered about that part. So I suppose we could find or fail. It shouldn't fail at this point in theory. So let's get the ingress service as a service, and we can say that our project is service get project from ID, where the project is this project. We've got the project, we can keep working. Next step, we want to make sure the application exists. Now, if we go and look at the application itself, we need a name, the composer content, and that is about it. So our ingress service, we want to have a public function ensure application we are going to have a string for the project ID, pass-through, and the composer.json for the payload. And this is going to return an application or model. So this is where we tap into that database manager, database transaction. The callback we want to use is keyboard, come on, there we go, I got it in the end. So what we want to do here, we say we're going to attempt this like 3 times. We want to say application query update or create, where the attributes that we care about are the name, payload name, and the project ID is the project. The values after that is going to be composer, payload. You need to make a toArray method. So this needs to have a toArray method. Right, public function to array, which will return an array, return an array. So this name, description. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see it better. Name, description. Next up is version. Version, this version. Type, this type. There you go. Now, keywords, homepage, this homepage, readme, this readme, time, this time, is this license, authors is array map, array is this authors, and the callback is going to be set an array on that one, and that will obviously return an array as well. So let's just come over to that author JSON. I'm going to add a public function to array here, full circle, where the name is this name, email is this email, the home page is this home page, and the role is this role. And we're just going to fix all of that. So that now should work. So that's authors. And we'll just fix that again. Done the authors, we're now on support. So we're just going to say support is this support, funding is this funding, that's where we need to go back on the require as well. So require is going to be this require. That is actually an array, so it should be fine. Require dev is this require dev conflict. This conflict place this place provide suggest We're going to turn that into an array as well. Then we need to come over to this AutoLoad.json and we're going to say public function to array, where we return an array. And I'll fix all of the types for this a little bit later. So PSR4 is this PSR4, PSR0 is this PSR0, class map is this class map, files, this files, and exclude from class map is this exclude. Fix that up. That should now be working for the autoload, and the same thing for autoload dev. There's that stability. This stability, and finally prefer stable is this prefer stable. And let's just fix up that file again. Declare closure is static. What's that complaining about? Plain or given, yes, that's fine. I'm not worrying about that too much right now, so we'll come back to that part. But the ingress service, if we just fix this up quickly, this should now be working. So if we go to an application, name composer and project, name composer project, done. That ingress service should be working, so that our service will get the project from the ID, and then it will have service ensure application, where the project is the project get key, and the payload is this composer. Right, that in theory should work. That's complaining about something. There we go. That should hopefully work. Being processed. Come over to our database. Just close that down. Applications, and we've got an application. So that is now all working. So if I come to my UI, wherever I left it, my application is showing up here. If I come to my project, I have got an application here. So things are showing up as soon as that ingress works, which is great. Oh, wow. Now what? What else can I do with this? So what I need to do at this point is when the application's been saved, I want to get all dependencies and fetch information about them. So we need another job. Make a job. We're going to make a packagist job, packagist, and we're going to say fetch package insights. So at this point, we're going to say we're also injecting the dispatcher, the bus. I wonder if this is actually going to work. I think we have to look into another way. So we can say bus dispatch. The command we're dispatching is new fetch package insights for the okay, I need to do a kind of loop over this. So for each this composer require an array merge on this composer require this composer required dev as package. Do a quick dive dump on that package. Cool. So now you can say bus dispatch. And we only care about the package itself. So package at this point. So the name is going to be that. So I can say public read-only string name, and that should all be fine. So for each one, just kind of go kaboom, off we go. Array merge, all of that stuff. And then within here, what we want to do is just kind of fix that whole file. So we are going to get data, get stats, get downloads. So we want to build up this profile in the background. So once we've got the data, we want to register the vendor and register the package itself. Then register versions. So let's have a look. What can we do? Let's come over to our database a second. Versions is just got a name and a package ID. So we're not capturing specifics about packages and package versions. But vendor, we need to, I really should buy a license. Vendor, we're going to have ID, name, and key. Package, ID, name, key, description, homepage, license, author, type, keyword required, blah, blah, blah. Lots of stuff going on there. Okay, so first things first, we've got a name for a package. So first we need the connector. Packagist equals packagist connector. And we want to start with the public aspect. We did have a command for this. So we can come over to our commands, packagist, fetch package data. We're going to do something kind of similar. And we're going to say that. Connector, send, vendor and package. Vendor and package, what we want to do is we had something like that in here where we just kind of got this. So fetch package data, fetch package insights. Do we want to say this name and this name? Send that, get the package, and we're just doing giant dump on the package. Nope. Package. It's going to pull that repo instead. Right, go. Can it use object of type required JSON as array? Process composer upload. Process composer upload, line 36. Weird. What is causing that? What could be causing that? Shout up if you see something that I'm just completely missing here. So get project, ensure application, fetch package. I'm going to swap this to this project, because at this point that is almost guaranteed. Then I don't need that. Get project from ID. I don't even need that. Let's try again. It's going to cause a failure so I can see what's going on. Process composer upload line 40. Process composer upload line 40. Can't use object of required JSON as array. What happens if we get that? Oh, wait. There we go. Cannot assign string to property. Response decoded JSON of type array coming from Saloon. Let's just come over to here. So at this point, let's just die and dump on the response JSON. Send, blah, blah, blah. Just ignore that. Cannot assign string to property. Decoded JSON of type array. Fetch package insights, line 40. Send new package details, vendor package, returning. What is causing this issue? Is it the way that I'm fetching information? This vendor and this package. PHP. Ah, yes. So I'm not actually able to get something. So on this, what we want to do is ingress service. What we want to do is public function ignored packages is going to return an array. So we're going to ignore PHP to start with. We're going to basically ignore anything that's PHP and starts with ext. So over here, we want to inject that ingress service if in array this name service ignored packages return early. We don't care about running it at this point. So now we can run it, and we've got composer jobbed. Awesome. I knew I needed to do that. I don't know why I completely forgot about it. Guzzle, all good. Package objective done. What we want to do, we've got that data. We want to make sure that vendor is now registered. So we need to register that. So service, ingress service, we want to have a public function ensure vendor. String name, we're going to return vendor or a model. Turn this database transaction where the callback is vendor, query, update, or create. No, but we're not going to change the name. So we can do a first or create. And the attribute we care about is name. What we care about here. And we're only going to attempt it 3 times. So when we come to here, we've got the package and we can get the name. And what we want to do is vendor is what do we want to do? Service ensure vendor. The name is string of. I've already got the vendor out, haven't I? So I can just say vendor model. There we go. So now we've registered the vendor. Then we want to ensure package. Public function ensure package. String name. No, I'm going to need more than that. I need to pass through the whole package object. We're just going to pass the payload, but we're also going to pass through string for the repo. This will return a package. Return this database transaction where the callback is package query update or create. Attempt it 3 times. So attributes. Let's go look at packages. This needs a vendor. So I need the string for the vendor. So that'll be its identifier. So we have a vendor ID for vendor. We have the name, which is the repo. And then the values, which is payload to array. Oh, so much to do. So next we have the package model, which is service ensure package, where the payload is the package, the repo is the repo, and the vendor is the vendor model ID. Package model and vendor model. Now, let's see what happens. No column, key, relation to vendors. So ensure vendor. We want to make sure that string of name lower slug to string. Packages key is exactly the same. Grab that, but that is then repo. There we go. We've got package and a vendor. Good to go. All the information that we wanted, other than the home page, which is absolutely fine because that obviously didn't come back from the API. So now we've got that. We've got that. We want to then go get the stats, which is that next command that I had, package statistics, where we create something else. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call it a day there because I've got a million other things I need to also do. But that was fun. We're able to start kind of dispatching all of these kind of these insights that we're going to start capturing. We start to understand, my project has these many applications. We've got this many dependencies. Here's the most predominant license. Here's any security advisory. I can start to look at all of the kind of useful information that you can get from a composer file. So without further ado, let's all go have coffee. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Catch you next time.